Pam Bassett would be the first to admit that she took her life and her health for granted.
Both my husband and I were working. We were newlyweds. We had more money than we knew what to do with, no children. We were very successful in the eyes of the world, I guess. We were babies. We were just having fun, and it was nice.
That all changes in 1986, when the city where Pam lives experiences problems with its water supply.
A lot of people that summer came down with severe flus, and I was one of them. And my flu continued on after other people got well. I just assumed it was an extraordinarily severe one.
When symptoms refuse to go away, Pam makes an appointment with her doctor, but all the tests come back normal.
Eventually, I started bleeding heavily from the anus, and asked them to do more tests, because of course this wasn't normal. And the cramping, it was just as if you had a terrible flu.
Pam is also losing weight at a rate of 2 pounds a week. She goes back to her doctor, who sends her to a specialist. It isn't cancer and it isn't a tumor, but the prognosis is grim. Pam has Crohn's disease. Crohn's is an inflammatory bowel disease that attacks the intestines. Intestinal tissue becomes inflamed and bleeds easily. Symptoms include diarrhea, fatigue, and abdominal pain.
I had by this time lost about 40 pounds and was cramped to the point where I would have to stop my car if I was driving and pull over and fall out of the car with the pain just to somehow get in a position that didn't hurt. I remember Christmas morning, I didn't even have the strength to lift the paper on my presents. I felt something flutter and leave me, and I knew it was my will to live was leaving. And I said to Dave, I better go in. I said, I think I'm dying.
Dave rushes Pam to emergency, and she's admitted into hospital. Her roommate is a woman with cancer.
She also had had her bowel removed, which I was told was probably going to happen to me. She was on a machine called TPN, which stands for Total Parental Nutrition. I had 9 doctors over the 2 weeks. At one point, one of them came in, looked at my chart, and I said, you know, do you have any idea how long I'm going to be here? And he never even looked at me. He kept flipping through the chart, and he said, oh, I wouldn't make any long-range plans if I were you. You could probably expect 3 or 4 operations, and probably will end up on TPN. And at that point, I had had it. I thought, this is not my life. This is not how it's going to end up.
Pam reads everything she can about Crohn's disease and diet. Then a friend tells her about a woman who's been researching treatment for bowel disease for over 30 years.
And I phoned the woman whose name is Elaine Gottschall, and she's quite well known now. She had just finished writing her book, Food and the Gut Reaction. So what she did was she sent me photocopied pages of the rough draft. And that was another turning point, too, in my life.
In 1955, Elaine Gottschall's own daughter is diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. She is just 4 years old.
The most outstanding symptom is usually excruciating pain. Along with that comes chronic diarrhea, where you can't sleep through the night. You're in the bathroom, in the washroom, innumerable times during the day. We had covered about 15 different specialists, and every single one of them, and even to this day, said the same thing. It is an incurable disease, and food has nothing to do with it. And we were just about at the end of our rope because she was so debilitated.
Then Elaine and her husband are put in touch with Dr. Sidney Hawes, a 92-year-old New York physician whose prescription for bowel disease is diet. For Elaine Gottschall, it's nothing short of a miracle.
Within 3 weeks, less than that, night seizures, which were horrendous, went away, and within 3 months, the ulcerative colitis symptoms went. And it was at that time that I decided I've got to learn a little bit more about this.
It turns out to be more than just a little. At age 47, Elaine Gottshaw goes to university. She earns a bachelor's degree in biology and nutritional biochemistry and a master's in cellular biology, followed by 7 years of consulting. Her years of research tells Elaine that bowel disorders such as Crohn's and colitis are the result of infections caused by bacterial or parasitic microorganisms. These organisms thrive on certain foods, including some carbohydrates.
And when you overwhelm the body with all this starch, you are overwhelming the body's digestive system. It cannot break them down. Consequently, you can't absorb them. Consequently, it just goes down there and feeds these culprits that we've been talking about. All they have to do for a few weeks is to cut out the wrong carbohydrates and to eat fruits and vegetables, preferably cooked. Meat, if they're not vegetarians, homemade yogurt. They can have cheeses, not processed cheese, but things like cheddar and Havarti. They can have honey, but they mustn't have processed sugar.
Pam has always suspected that her condition was food-related and has already tried several different diets.
We both went on a macrobiotic diet, which is, of course, all grains, mostly a lot of grains. I kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and then finally I talked to Elaine and she says, don't eat any more grains.
The grain carbohydrates seem to be the ones that are causing the problem. So if you can cut out wheat and corn and rice and barley and the grains for a short time, and in Crohn's disease especially, within 3 weeks you can see a reversal.
Despite her cravings, Pam sticks with the diet, and the results are worth it.
My health today, or my health to date, ebbs and flows. It's up and down. I haven't had the severe, dramatic attacks, the Crohn's attacks that I had even a year ago. I think that overall my health has improved. What has been most responsible for the gains that I've made has been trusting that inner voice, trusting that if I have any doubts at all about something, that I need to search for an alternative answer and be responsible for myself, not leave it to someone else to fix me. It's my responsibility.
Coming up later, dealing with skin disorders from A to Zits. But first, the power of energy medicine when Beyond Medicine returns.